Hello, church. I hope this finds you continuing to do well. I wanted to take just a few minutes and give everyone a quick update on the happenings with our church and our plans for the next several weeks. As most of you know, Governor Abbott held a press conference on Monday afternoon, and in that press conference, he shared a phase one plan to reopen the Texas economy that involved opening retail and restaurants, among other things, at a 25% capacity. In addition to those plans, some recommendations were made for churches and their plans to reopen. And so taking all of those things into consideration, the elders and I met on Tuesday through Zoom to discuss the plans for our church family. And I wanted to take a few minutes just to share those plans with you, those discussions with you, and explain a little bit about our thought process as we visited. So the first thing I want you to know is that we have decided at this time that it is our plan to continue to meet online for at least May the 3rd, May the 10th, May the 17th. After the 17th, we plan to reevaluate and make decisions for gatherings that will happen at the end of May. We may choose to continue to meet online for May the 24th, May the 31st, and then look even maybe more to June, but we're not going to make decisions about those last couple of weeks of the month until May the 18th. Now, what I want to do is explain that decision. First of all, I want you to know that while churches are, quote unquote, opening, the way that they are encouraged to open is not what the elders and I have imagined for our first gatherings when we're back together physically. In the email that I sent out to the church earlier, where you found the link to this video, I attached a document that provided some detailed information about the recommendations that were made for churches as they make their plans to reopen. I've been on calls with preachers and ministers and pastors all the last several days, all week, and trying to figure out kind of even what some other churches are doing. And most churches that I know, or every church that I know, is using this document. Many of you have already read this document. And as you read these guidelines, if you haven't, I would encourage you to do that. But as you read these guidelines, what you probably saw is that they paint a picture for a worship gathering that is almost depressing, honestly, in some ways. It's not what any of us imagined. And so just here are a few of the recommended guidelines, just so you kind of get a sense of some of the information that we were working with. As churches, are opening, they're still at this point strongly encouraged to have the at-risk population to watch the service remotely, or to designate an area inside of our facility that would be reserved for the at-risk population, or maybe even to offer a specific service for that population. We're also we're required to keep at least 2 empty seats or 6 feet of separation between any families, and also to have alternating rows between people. So, my family sits on a row, and there couldn't be another family in front of us or behind us, and there could be another family on those rows, spaced throughout the building. Some other recommendations are that they're encouraging churches across the state to encourage volunteers and employees and members to wear cloth face coverings. And so those are just a few of the things. And what we imagine our first physical gathering looking like is much different than that, honestly. When we come back together, we imagine a time of worship, a time of celebration, sharing of a meal, hopefully. And we know that it could go either way, but what we hope is that by waiting a couple more weeks, we will get closer to that desired picture of our first gathering. And again, in addition to all the things that I've just mentioned, as the elders and I talked, we just don't think that meeting physically with all of the recommended guidelines is really a better option for us than what we're doing now. And what's been laid out with this phasing process gives us hope that there's a chance that things will still be different in the middle or the end of May. It's still yet to be determined, but if that proves to be true, then it's likely that some of the guidelines would be loosened. So if those guidelines are loosened, it would be our preference to wait and worship under some less restrictive guidelines instead of the ones that are being outlined beginning tomorrow, May the 1st. So we realize that will likely make some of you thankful, that decision, that you don't have to make a decision to come back, and maybe feel a little bit uncomfortable about that. And we realize that it will also make others of you frustrated because you're ready to get back. And we understand that, we get that, and we appreciate your ongoing support as we try to navigate through this unique time and to lead our church through this unique time. But what we know is that we have a lot of people in our church family in the kind of the two vulnerable populations, kids and our senior saints. And we want to keep both of those groups and everybody else, with pre-existing conditions and others that have health challenges, safe as we can. And so that's the first reason that we made our decision, is because, we just, the picture that we have for our gathering when we physically gather again is different than the guidelines that are laid out at this point. The second reason we made the decision to delay our physical gatherings a little longer is because of what we're already doing, honestly. I want you to really think about this. I think this is really important, that the church is not impacted by this in some of the ways that the economy is. I want to be as supportive as I can for opening up the economy as that seems safe and reasonable to do. We're not meeting physically, and we understand that, but from my point of view and from those of you who I've spoken with, what I know that we are all seeing is that the church is functioning beautifully in so many ways. This entire thing has highlighted what we already all know and believe, and that is that the Spirit of God is not limited by a virus or anything like that. The Spirit of God can spread faster than a virus. And so much good has happened during this entire situation. You are calling one another, you're encouraging one another, you're checking on one another. We had a dinner event online last week. We've created a date night experience for couples because our marriage seminar was postponed. If you didn't get the information about that, I can send it to you. Chris and Suzanne have been creating opportunities for our students and kids and families. And you've continued to be so faithful in your giving. We've worshiped online, interacted there, and also on our Facebook Lives. We've continued to have volunteers serve with Kaufman ISD on Mondays. We're still doing that if you want an opportunity to do that. We've had volunteers at the Help Center helping to work in the food pantry. We had a food drive on Easter weekend. And those are just a few of the things that have already happened. And there's stories, I know, people who have made masks for countless individuals. I mean, there's so much good that's still happening, and we want that to be what we really pay attention to. It's not that that our limited, not meeting is not limiting those things from happening. In fact, I think in some ways, even some new and really creative ministries are happening that hadn't happened before. So there are also, in addition to all the things we've done, there are some new opportunities for service and community that are coming. And so as we considered whether or not to start meeting and when to start meeting, one of the things that we took into consideration is that all the things that have already happened and all the things that are going to happen. And I want to just tell you about two of those things really quickly, and then we'll be done. The first one is that our life groups are about to begin online. As you'll recall, at the beginning of this year, we were preparing to relaunch our small group ministry. Well, during this time, you may not have known that Robin Yeldale and Stuart McGregor have been hard at work to continue to determine how we might be able to move forward with our small groups even during this time. And so if you signed up or expressed interest earlier this year, you're going to be getting an email soon. We're not going to wait until we can physically gather to help get small groups going. We don't want to lose the momentum that was gained through the preparation, the sermon series, the signups, and all the things that took place earlier this year. So be on the lookout for that to begin in the next couple of days, actually. And let us know if you have questions about that, or if you want, if you want to get involved and somehow you didn't have the chance to, you can let us know as that as well. You can reach out to me or to Stuart or to Robin. The other thing that's happening is the blood drive. We're having a Kaufman County countywide blood drive on May the 18th. Everybody is invited to come and participate in this. Please sign up. Please encourage your friends, family, neighbors, friends to sign up as well. There's going to be a link that I'll drop in the email that I sent out to the church. This is going to be a safe way for you to serve our area and love your neighbor as yourself. And so just know that's happening, and it's going to be a great thing. We have plans in place for there to be a safe way for, there's going to be an entrance, there's going to be an exit, those are going to be different doors. It'll be basically a touch-free experience, except for the paper you have to sign and the needle that you have to get stuck with. So know that that's going to be a great way for you to serve. And we have a lot of slots that we still need to fill, over 20 slots we still need to fill. So we really need you to participate in that. If you're missing being together, like I am, know that I want to just encourage you to take advantage of these opportunities and to share in the other worship devotional options that are happening online on Sundays, on Mondays, on Wednesdays for adults, and various times for students and kids as well. We miss being together. I miss singing with you. I miss hugging your neck. I miss being hugged by you. I know this is not ideal, and that we know, and I know that some will be disappointed in the decision to continue to delay our gatherings, but please know that we have prayed and are praying about these things. One of the things that's been a highlight of this season for me is that the elders and I and our wives and Chris and Stephanie, we've all met about every 7 to 10 days, and we've been praying. And for you and for our church and for our city, for our county, for our state, and for our world. And so know that that's all in all those prayers. Our decision-making processes have been involved in those prayers. So, but we're proud of you. We're proud of the many ways the church is continuing to do what the church does, praying regularly, caring for one another, loving your neighbors, serving our community. And with all those good things that have happened, we just want to continue to encourage you to do those things. And we believe that we'll continue to see the evidence that the church has left the building and that the Spirit of Christ is still very much at work. And so we expect that to happen in the days ahead. I want to just thank you for taking a few minutes to listen during this process. We know that we've had the opportunity to connect with many of you, and we will continue to do that. But if there's any way that that we can serve or encourage you, we want to do that. And so please reach out to us and let us know if there's anything at all that we can do. Please continue to do what you're doing. Thank you for listening and taking a few minutes to listen. Let me know if you have any questions or if I can pray with you or encourage you in any way. I love you, church, and I look forward to talking to you soon. God bless.